Welcome on in, everybody, this afternoon here in New York to the fate of Tate. One of the most bizarre things I've ever done in my life. I'm your host for the afternoon, Jeff D. Lowe, where today our colleague, Ohio's Tate, will find out if he is living in Chicago, where he currently lives, or packing up his life and moving to the Big Apple in Manhattan. If you are not aware of how we got here, this will be mildly confusing, but I'll try to sum it up real quick. Ohio's Tate has had a long-standing rivalry with some people here in New York. He was not allowed to come to this office, finally got the chance a few weeks ago during a baseball playoff series, and as he left, he said, there goes the relevance of New York. From there, our other coworker, Roan, said, hey, Dave, I looked up the numbers. Ohio State's numbers are significantly better in New York. Let's make him move. And that's when Dave said, let's have the New York office vote and decide if he stays in Chicago or moves to New York. And that's why we are here right now with 23 people in front of me who will decide whether or not he lives in Chicago or has to move to New York. The man is not on set right now, so to bring him on in, Ohio State, everybody.
Hey, girl.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Where am I sitting?
Unexpected right there,
Right
sir.
here?
Yep.
Not a warm welcome.
Win yesterday.
What's up, Joey?
Tate will have the floor first. He will have an opening statement. After that, we will have people on the voting pool speaking as well. Then I'll have a closing statement and then a vote. Tate, the floor is yours to begin, my friend.
Thanks, Jeff. Oh. I didn't hear the joke.
Is that someone said? Oh, good.
All right. I guess I should address them. Today, I am going to live by the saying that I've used many times in my Barstool career. If you can dish it, you have to be able to take it. I'm going to admit that a main part of my persona is to be a troll that writes things for clicks and numbers, giving the people on their message boards and in the replies what they want to hear or what will rile them up. I'll accept that I got my job from being mean to others by regurgitating the same insults that you would find if you clicked the comment section of our blog, with the extra added benefit of getting to do it behind a cartoon character, to the point where you're probably wondering, is that actually a character? Or is that who you really want to be and you just use the character to say those things? I don't have a huge show or a special brand that would be missed if I wasn't at Barstool. In fact, I tried Mincy Madison for a few episodes, and I pulled the plug on myself because the product was terrible. And I will say this, I am embarrassed of what I said upstairs in Chicago to Kelly. That crossed the line, and I am sorry. I also wish that I had gotten my job by showcasing my talent in a way that rose me up without diminishing and harming others. And now that I got what I wanted, the least I should have done is call you, Kelly. But I did not do that. I also know what buttons to press to make me look better. And I'm sure that you've noticed that those buttons only touch certain people. If this whole thing was Roan's idea, why don't I go after Roan? Because he's more creative than me. Francis, he's a better writer than me. Feidelberg, Frank, people love them. Fran, Ria, because you guys have a brand that is so much more powerful and towering than how many blogs did Tate write. Joey, because I think you're too beautiful. You're welcome. Some people might say that I punch down, but in reality, I think I've picked the easy targets. And the easiest target has been the New York office as a whole, despite having many extremely successful shows and brands, and I obviously know that. So today I'm going to take the loss, because everyone in this business has to take a loss at some point. And after all the shit that I've dished out, it is certainly my turn to eat some. Actually, you know what? I do take one part back where I say that everyone has to take a loss. Because you know who refuses to take a loss? Dave Portnoy, the person who put me in this situation. Let's make a couple things clear, Dave. The first is that everything I just said is why you hired me to be here. I worked part-time for 5 years, writing both about Ohio sports and blogging funny articles. You never took much notice, to the point where I had to email you 3 times that I wasn't getting paid for my entire first year. But then I wrote 2 blogs trashing New York City employees, and you were in my DMs the next day, wondering how much money I needed and if I was willing to quit my job in the middle of the year. You created this, you rewarded this, you told me I couldn't come to New York right away, hyping it up even more. While you kept us in our corners for 7 months, and then when you sent me here, you acted surprised that I continued what I was rewarded for and what I thought you wanted out of the trip. Forget the positive praise that I received both publicly and privately last week. I specifically asked you, should I stop? And you said no. Maybe a better answer would have been yes, or else I will ruin your life. The next thing I want to do is I want to make it clear that this was not Roan's diabolical idea. Direct quote from Dave. Roan asked for a vote. Direct quote from Roan. The vote was Dave's idea. Roan said if his numbers are so good and sent you them, then why not make him stay? You came up with the idea for the vote because, in your exact words, this could ruin Tate's life. And they might not know it, but you know damn well that it would. That's why you kept saying it. You said it no less than 5 times that it would ruin Tate's life on the rundown. And then on Unnamed, you continuously repeated how you know Tate doesn't want to go to New York. Yeah, because you know my personal situation. You know that 2 days before you offered me a full-time job, my long-term girlfriend and I got a house in Columbus. And you know that when you offered me to stay in Ohio first, but then I said, I understand the best path to success was to be in an office. And you, me, and Dan decided that it would be Chicago before the entire where's he going bit even started. So her and I had a tough discussion, toughest we've ever had, but because she's an incredible teammate, the best I ever know, we made the plan that we were going to Chicago. And she relocated her work, and just after buying a house, we had to learn about what it means to sell a house and how we'd lose money on the closing fees and the capital gains if we didn't wait at least a year, probably 2. But she is okay with that, even though the life she signed up for was to live in the suburbs of Columbus, in the same town she grew up in, married to a teacher and a high school basketball coach. But all of that got scrapped because I was chasing my dream. And these last 7 months have been bumpy, but we've made it work. Until the Guardians won Game 5 against the Tigers. And Dave sent me to New York, and for about the 20th time in the last 7 months, I had to explain to her why once again work was coming first, because this was a big moment for me. Hey, you know those Game 3 tickets that me, you, and my dad have to go watch Guardians-Yankees? I can't go anymore. Instead, I will be going to sit on a recliner in New York to watch the game for content. I'm new. This is the way I got hired. I have to do this. This is big for me. If I don't go to New York and face the music, Dave will ruin me. And I'm sorry, I promise that one day this will all calm down. And it did calm down for one day until we watched the rundown. And shockingly, she is not a stoolie. She's learning everyone's names. She wants to know who the fuck Roan is and why he would suggest that, why Dave would allow it, or if I would really go. But she made one thing clear as she went back to Ohio on Tuesday morning, because once again I had to cancel this week, this time our trip to Ohio State's homecoming game this past weekend, because I had to prepare this speech for this vote. She made it clear that we have already packed up and moved for Dave Portnoy once, and if this is the next big thing I have to do in the content game, she will not be playing it anymore. Dave knows this. He knows I am not sleeping. He sure as hell knows she is not sleeping, but the show goes on for Dave. So to be clear, in this company where we have had high noon cans thrown at people's heads, orchestrated harassment of wives, physical altercations, you have handled all of these behind closed doors. I am the first one who gets their personal life actually ruined, and also of a public shaming by my peers. What did I do to deserve this in Dave's eyes? Was it the trolling? You're the biggest troll on the internet. Was it the calling out of other people's work ethics and their coworkers? Not only do you do that, but I get you're the boss. You have encouraged others to as well. A direct quote from the Dave Portnoy Show, episode 39, titled, "Bloggers Call Out Each Other's Work Ethics." These are all fair points. Keep everyone in the locker room accountable. Or was it that I am being different off camera, like you have said that I am? Well, Captain Dave, here is a direct quote from you again, June 27th, 2021. If people can't understand the difference between on camera and off camera, I don't know what to tell you. God forbid that I be the first ever Barstool employee to play up a character. Was it saying something awful to a woman? And I sincerely, Kelly, do apologize. That was wrong of me. You've done it too, Dave. Was it spoiling surviving Barstool like you said was a fireable offense? I didn't do that. You did that. I just don't know what the fuck I have done that is so bad to get you to knowingly allow my life to be ruined. Dave, you told me in my DMs the day you offered me a job to think about if this is the right decision for me because, and I quote you, if you can't keep it entertaining, you don't want to fuck me over in 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years, Dave, I have certainly kept it entertaining. You have successfully fucked me over in 7 months. Why is he doing this? I'm not positive. His backdoor conversations have told him that my personal business, my backdoor conversations have told me that he is truly upset about something, maybe Ohio State, Michigan, something maybe about Yankee Dave, but most importantly, that he should still be in that office. He might act like this is the content he had planned all along. He did not. He is spiteful. He's using this as an opportunity. He is on record as saying that both my situation with Kelly as well as my entire time in New York was bad content. But now he wants to send me here. Let's be very clear what this is, because everyone in the office, including our fan base, is tired of this. And that includes me. Kelly, you hit the nail on the head when you said no one likes Tate more than Tate. But even after this, I would say 3 weeks and all these cameras and all, this is too much Tate. The point is, this show is to allow New York to trash me for an hour, knowing I can't respond, potentially ending in me having to move and or quit. Dave is on record as saying what it's going to look like if Tate has to make the move, and he said he would be done. He wants revenge on something, and this is his way to do it without looking like a crybaby, but everyone inside and outside the company sees right through it. But now, Dave, you've got the show you wanted, and you know how I know it's a show? Because I've got the producer, Rob, texting me which hats I should bring just in case they vote one way to put on this hat and the other way put on this hat. I think it's fucked up, but I have to participate because I am officially a prisoner of a spiteful Dave Portnoy. It's a show for you, it's real life for me, and I know you're watching over there laughing, hoping to getting everyone to roast me for an hour without being able to fight back. But at best, you're hoping that they'd make the decision to ruin my life that you didn't have to. New York, obviously, I had to get all that off my chest. But now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go back to the beginning. I will answer all of your questions honestly. I will show you that if I can dish it, I'm going to be able to take it. but now you know what Dave has known this entire time. Yes, I do not want to move to New York, and yes, it would ruin my personal life. Thank you.
Thank you, Tate. Dave, I will give you a chance to respond if you want to. I don't know if you want to say anything to that.
No, I mean, it's not my vote. The only thing I guess I would say is I don't really know anything about his personal life. If he told me, I didn't know. Big Cat told me he didn't want to go. The other stuff, I don't know what he's talking about. This is a New York office, but I think everyone, if he thinks I'm that upset about Yankee Dave, I mean, that was stunning. That was a stunning speech. I thought he'd come at me, but yeah, I don't know what to say about all the other stuff. I actually went into this, I think everyone knows, I wanted him to go back to Chicago. Anyone who's asked me that, I'm like, I want him in Chicago. Maybe New York to watch it burn. The semantics game he played with Rome with the vote, that helped him. Rather than just sending him, it's like, let people vote. So I don't know. That was a wild speech. He may be a psychopath.
Thank you, Dave. Tate, you said you'd answer questions. You can interject as people stand
Can
up
I
here.
ask, though? Can I ask, why does he say I knew all this stuff about his personal life?
I have a lot of the receipts from our DMs and texts, and also that I know that I have been talking to people in Chicago that have been relaying to you. And the fact that you know that I don't want to go and you know it'll ruin my life tells me that they have shared exactly the same story I just shared with the people in Chicago.
This is Big Cat. I was like, him saying the stuff privatized. He goes, bizarre. I don't even know his private business except for having a girlfriend.
I've shared that stuff with a lot of people in Chicago, and they know that's why.
Who do you think I talked to in Chicago?
I would assume that you have talked to Big Cat, and there's other people.
I just told you what Big Cat said. Bizarre. I don't even know his personal business except for having a girlfriend.
Okay. I don't know what to say about that.
Seems like you're lying.
Who?
You. The one thing, I don't care anything, but I didn't know your personal life at all.
I have the receipts of a lot of what I said there, and then also I've had that conversation.
All these people sitting there, anybody who's going to sit here and be like, Dave knows the insides of your personal life, it's like,
no, I'm not saying
apparently
that.
you don't know me.
In the past week or so, I have shared why I don't want to go to New York with people, and then you being so adamant that you know everything tells me that you know a little bit more than I have a girlfriend. Because if I had a girlfriend, then okay, fair enough. That's your opinion.
Well, no, that's a fact.
I don't think it is, Dave.
It's a fact. I didn't know anything else. And anybody who's known me for the last 20 years to think I know the details of your personal life, they've been asleep at the wheel. I don't care, Tate. I truly, wanted you to stay in Chicago. I've said that 100 times to anybody who asked me.
If you wanted me to stay in Chicago, then we wouldn't be having a vote.
No, I think it's fair. I think it's fair for New York to have a vote. That's all I got.
If you wanted me to stay in Chicago, we wouldn't be having a vote.
If I said yeah, no, Rome, that's not fair. We're not going to do it. Stupid. I don't like it. Yes, you'd be in Chicago. The only thing you say is I don't care either way. That's it. You're like Rudy to me. Your biggest advantage to me is I don't give a damn.
You just said that if it was up to you, I would stay in Chicago. You are the one who organized the vote.
Obviously, if I want to be the boss and be like, he's staying in Chicago, I could do that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't have to vote. Right. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ria and Fran, directly in my line of sight here. We're going to have you guys.
Hold on.
What?
I have Rob, I was in a group text that said Ria and Fran backed out and Big Ev is taking over.
No.
I literally asked who is speaking. He gave me a list.
We don't have a speech. We don't have a speech.
Everyone's able to answer the questions.
Totally fine. Totally fine. I have
we don't have a speech.
Chance to speak.
You guys are not speaking?
We don't have a speech. We just have a vote.
Okay, which is, that's totally fine. This is not a knock on that. I was alerted that Ria and Fran had backed out of this situation and Big Ev.
We're not backing out. We're here. We do not have a speech, but we will be speaking right now.
Totally fine. I think we have to be on the same page. Rob, that's crazy.
Yeah. What's the Jeff? Let's just
Okay. There are. Remember, that was part of the rundown.
Yeah.
Like, there are. I will ask questions of other people though as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Yes.
There's whatever. We're
Whatever.
gonna talk. Look,
I agree.
we very much do not have a dog in this fight here.
Yeah.
We are, we come in, we do our jobs. If you're here, if you're not here, doesn't really change our lives.
Sure.
But we know you're a bits guy.
We know you love the yak. We know you love bits. And Fran and I were chopping it up at our desks, and we thought, why don't we just let the wheel decide?
Yeah. So we'll be.
So our votes, me and Fran's votes, will be decided on the wheel. The wheel is just.
That's
So it'll
what
be
I'm
decided on the wheel.
So we're gonna start it off. Not everyone's gonna vote right now, but the wheel is gonna set the preliminary
I hope this
votes.
is Chicago.
So
Is
It's
it
two. We get two.
You're doing it twice?
one
Twice.
for me, one for Ria.
So,
Yep.
okay, so it's a separate wheel.
Yep. So we'll spin it once. It'll be my vote. All right. That's
All
one
right.
for New York.
One for New York.
Ria?
This will be my vote.
Thank God.
Wash. It's a wash.
Hold on. I do need to keep track though.
So we have one New
But who
York,
vote-
one Chicago.
Which one of you voted for me?
I,
Yeah, but who was who?
New York,
wheel.
Chicago.
New York for
New York,
Fran?
Chicago.
I just want to know. All right, thank you. Ria.
Yeah, he's
the wheel.
just jotting. He's
It's the
jotting
wheel.
down exactly.
That was good.
He
I
doesn't
like
see
it.
the score up there, but he's jotting down exactly.
Well, I'm glad.
He's okay.
No, it's a bit. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Tommy Smokes. Yeah. I believe is up next. You can stand up. You can sit down. Just letting
I'll sit
everyone
down.
know.
My speech is less about Tate specifically. It's more about the narrative around the New York office as a whole that's gone on for the past year. And this might seem like awkward and weirdly serious coming from me, but I feel like it's stuff that's overdue to be said. It's no secret the New York office is not what it was in like 2019 when you have everybody under one roof, working together Monday through Friday, et cetera. But I think it's important to learn the context of how we got here. The number one thing starts with, like, might sound crazy to say, but I think the first domino is the plandemic, Fauci, COVID, like that. There's a very clear line of demarcation of February 2020, everybody's in the New York office all the time working together. After that, obviously can't be in. And then we never really got back to what Barstool was in 2019. A lot of people moved out of the city, et cetera. Second thing, Dave, who's very handsome, has made hundreds of millions of dollars and a bunch of houses in a bunch of different places. He does not want or need to work in an office 5 days a week. I think that's completely reasonable. I think we would all do the same exact thing if we were in a situation. Third thing is that Big Cat and a bunch of other very talented people left to go work in a new office in Chicago. So all that's happened in the New York office over the past 5 years is we've lost people, we've lost people, we've lost people. We didn't get a fancy new office or a new city to go like build morale around and momentum. And so when you say things like, when you tweet last week, like New York office folded when Dave and Big Cat left, like no fucking shit. Yeah. Like we lost the two biggest personalities in sports media and a lot of other really talented people. There was always going to be like a tough adjustment period during that. But I think that the implication that it's our fault that they left, like we fucking voted them off the island, is ridiculous. I think the narrative has outgone reality, and I'm not saying we're completely blameless and sympathetic victims or anything like that. There's accountability. We could be better as an office for sure in some regards, but the narrative has way outdone reality, where the reality is we have a lot of people who come in here every day, work on their own stuff, work on stuff together. The people who aren't here as much have huge brands, huge shows, making $1 million for the company. They don't have to sit at their desk at 10:30 a.m. on a Wednesday just to show face. And I don't know if we just got like bad fucking PR team or something here, but the narrative that we're just like, unethical, lazy, going for like happy hour at 1 p.m. is just wrong. And the online comments about it are one thing that doesn't really bother me. Maybe when I was 22 that would have bothered me more, now whatever. What does bother me is when it comes from somebody inside the company and when it's not really ever refuted loudly by anybody else inside the company outside of us defending ourselves. It leads to that narrative that even Barstool thinks the New York office sucks, and it gives like a validity to that online narrative. And I think that's really bad for two reasons. One, I'd say the divide between the New York and Chicago office has never been greater. I'll just say that. Like I think these last few weeks, like it's only natural when you constantly see Chicago's better than New York, Chicago's better than New York. It's natural for people in Chicago to get this sense of superiority and be like, oh, those fucking losers in New York. And it's natural for people in New York to have sort of an unfair resentment towards people in Chicago. It's not their fault what people are saying. And the other thing is, I think it's almost getting to a point, or it's gotten to a point where it's going to legitimately have a bad impact on some of our careers, where whether it's a personal video we put out, or a group video, or stool scenes, or a fucking Viva La Stool tweet, constant comments being like, shut down the New York office, these fucking losers, these fucking losers. It's not fair to the people working hard on the videos, editing them, producing them, etc. And it's just bullshit, and it has to stop. And I'm not saying you're completely to blame for that at all. I certainly don't think you've helped, but there is, like, we could be better as an office, I agree, but like I said, there's other factors. So I don't completely blame you for that, but you really have not helped, and that does bother me. As for my vote, I'm pretty undecided. I do think there are benefits for your career and us to have you here. At the same time, I don't think you're Adolf Hitler. I know it's a popular comparison nowadays. And so I don't really want to ruin your life if it's actually going to ruin your life. But what I need to see from you today, which you did pretty well at first before going off on Dave, is just like a real vulnerability. I spit when I talk. Just a real vulnerability that you get what we're saying.
Yeah, couple things. Yeah, that was good, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wish I will be taking notes for longer speeches now so I can address them all. Things I know you said. Obviously, like, it was a bit. Do I know that there's different brands and different shows here that I literally couldn't hold a candle to? Duh. Like 100%. Pat, I heard he's absentee. I thought he made a great point when I think he said it today, or I saw it released today. He said that right now, New York has a bunch of successful brands, and Chicago is more like, at the current time, you have to. I think Chicago is the right place for me. For example, tomorrow night there will be a Jerry After Dark, or I just did a video game league, or I played Jenga the other day, or I might go do a home run derby. So that's why, as someone who doesn't have a successful brand, who doesn't have a podcast, I want to be able to get in that day-to-day thing going on in Chicago. But I do think you make a good point. Like, there are benefits of me coming here. Not that I would come here and be a big fish, that's not what I'm saying, but obviously I am not a big fish in Chicago. I think I have the ability to come here because of this vote and make a splash. I'll be honest with you. Professionally, it would not ruin my life to come here. I would like to be in Chicago. Personally, it would ruin my life to come to New York. So I would like to stay in Chicago for that reason. And I think that this whole thing is a great way to bury the hatchet in some sort. Like, how could I hear this vote and hear you, if you guys are honest with me and I'm honest with you, and I say these things and you vote how you should, what am I going to do? Laugh about it on camera in 2 seconds and then go back and write a blog? How could I do that?
Okay, so you won't, like, if we vote you to Chicago, you're not going to be like, I got these fucking suckers.
He did. Kevin spoke up.
I think the vibe is that you're going to do that.
I'll tell you this right now. The person I am upset with, stand, that I've taken it too far, but attacking New York has been like, it does well numbers-wise. I'm mad at that guy. I'm not mad at any of you guys. I will not laugh at you guys and go do whatever.
Maybe some pro-New York blogs? Best sites.
My apology to Kelly Keegs.
You had the sandwich. Was it good?
Twice. It was good.
I don't
Actually,
think you'll do it right away, but I feel like eventually you'll be like, remember when those New York pussies didn't even have the balls to vote me out.
I think this vote is, I think that's actually the mental mind game here. Like, if people truly want to ruin my personal life, I'm not saying I'm going to, I won't. But that would stink. Like, if I have to realize, you hear all this and it's like, we still want to ruin his life, then that's tough. If you guys
realize you were doing that to them,
I think
shit that you're saying about these people when their DMs and their comments and their tweets like that, we're all throwing around the term ruin life a little bit too much here. But for the sake of, I understand what's going on, how we're using that term, you're ruining lives in that regard. The boss might think they're lazy. The fans are chirping constantly. It's like you did that to them, and now there's this weird chance to do it back to you, and it's vengeful, but it's like, that's why they want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree that what I've done has made it more difficult on people here. My personal opinion, you might disagree, is that the vote of move to New York, I think, is a little worse. I have done some bad things to Kelly. I'm sorry about that. I think a lot of you guys in here I haven't touched it professionally, personally, in the same way that this would to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's obviously.
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is this. I think this is like actually good for us in some way where it's like, are we going to bury the hatchet and Tate goes and finds other content? I'm not saying that you guys vote me at a stay here, that I come in and I'm raising hell and I have a marching band coming through. But like, realistically, if I'm staying here, that's because more than half of you guys have decided that what I have done is worth ruining my life. That's where it's like, so then do I just come sit here and put my hands under my butt? I don't think that's possible either, if that makes sense.
Any more questions based off that one?
I have a question just you were like being in the Chicago office and like you being around everybody is really great for you. Are you saying that you're not confident enough in yourself to create something on your own?
No, I think that I've been here 7 months and I'm actually very, in my opinion, proud of what I've done. I think I've gained a lot of following. I know you guys will disagree, but after talking to Dan on that third day, I have gone out and tried other content things. And I know that, like I heard KFC say the other day, he's like, what does he do other than attack Kelly and write about Ohio? I do other things. Like I'm proud. I know it's a silly thing, but I did that first pitch thing from T-ball up to freaking the major leagues. And I got to throw out a first pitch at the game where my dad and I have been going as kids. I went to the women's Final Four and snuck in chicken wings around my body and tried to out-eat Caitlin Clark's points. And I think when Dave said like old Barstool the other day, he like addressed like Tate is not old Barstool. And Kevin, I'll talk more to you in this situation. What I don't think old Barstool is being mean to each other. I think where he missed the mark on that is I don't have a podcast and I don't have a brand. So every day I have to come up with ideas like dressing up like a freaking duck and eating 320 peeps on a live stream until I puke. I'm not saying that's exactly what you guys did to build it, but I can't, or else I would fail, just come in and do a podcast because I don't have one.
Yeah, but that's also maybe why you should just shut the fuck up a little bit.
For sure.
Like you haven't been here that long. Like when you even like bring up Dave in this situation is like insane because he's the owner of the company.
Right.
He's been doing it for 20 years. There's very different rules for different people. And so, if you were on your last legs and on the way out and not going to get another contract and you need to throw a Hail Mary and troll everybody, but like you're just new here. You don't make any money for the company. You don't have any reason to be going at these people. So just don't fucking do it and just try to make real content and don't rely.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem for everybody here is that it feels like we hired a commenter. And a commenter came in like a fox in the hen house sort of thing where it's the lowest hanging fruit and you get all that feedback from, hundreds of people on Twitter. But at the end of the day, it's a microscopic amount of fans. And so, we always kind of were like above that. And I feel like you were more in the mix of commenters rather than a blogger. And I think that is the real problem from a content point of view.
I do see why you guys would feel like that's all I've done. As much as you guys are like, you guys are here, you're in Chicago, you don't know what we do in New York. I also feel very confident that the people that judge me in Chicago and the people that make the decisions in Chicago have given me feedback that I am doing a good job of a day-to-day not making this my whole content. Right,
but that's also what goes on in New York. It's like Marty Mush is playing fucking tennis against the number one tennis star in the world.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I know, but I'm saying like people don't give New York people the credit for the work they do.
Correct. Yes.
So you're now experiencing that in some regard, and it's like
exactly.
This is why it's fucking annoying.
Definitely, it's definitely annoying. But I will admit to a lot of things today. I will not admit to my whole time here, 7 months, just like regurgitating comments. I think I've done other things.
We're going to move on to the next person who is going to stand up. I've never been given the honor of letting the dog off the leash. May never get the chance to do it again. So Nate, floor is yours. Nate, you what? You're just going to take the podium.
This is going to be the hardest.
I should have just fucking seen that.
You can say that.
I'm not going to sit in your seat.
This is going to be the hardest thing.
You let the dog off the leash. You got to fucking.
You got the checkmate shirt after I tweeted about checkmate. I just have to sit here and listen to Nate.
All right, Tate.
I'll say this. I wrote 2 different statements today because I didn't know which one I'd be giving, the move to New York one or the good luck in Chicago one. But after what I've heard today, there is only one option. Tate, I do not believe you for a second when you say your plan was to apologize. I think your entire speech you gave was an act, a pathetic last-ditch effort, and a complete sham. I think the only reason you are apologizing now is because Dave decided your actions should have consequences. But if he didn't, you never would have called Kelly on Friday begging for forgiveness, and we wouldn't be here right now. I think it's fairly clear your intentions this entire time was not to make content, but to hurt both the personal lives and careers of everyone in this office. You salivate as you sit on Twitter reading replies that call Kelly a whore, or say I should be fired, or that the entire office should be shut down. That's how I know it wasn't just content to you. The fact you never stepped in once and asked your incel followers to lighten up or to stop harassing her shows to me that you not only enjoyed it, but you encouraged it. And then the fact you felt so comfortable being a misogynic piece of shit to her face in a room of your coworkers, all of who told you to shut the fuck up, and you still wanted that video public because somehow in your delusional mind you thought it would make you look good, shows what a scumbag you really are. And never mind the fact you get a boner when you log onto Reddit in your burners and talk shit about everybody in here. It's actually insane that you think you're better than a single person in the New York office simply because you work in the office that Big Cat built in Chicago. You have not done a single thing in the Chicago office to make a single penny for this company, yet you peacock around like you own the place. You're the only person alive who could create a series with the premise of Mincy is dumb and somehow fail. Honestly, that might be the most impressive thing you've done. So no, I do not believe you for a second when you say you're sorry. And yes, I do think you need to learn a lesson, but I also do not want to ruin your life. Which is why I was so relieved when you went on the rundown and stated that moving here would not ruin your life, and that you'd even get a raise for working in the office with me. And then I did the responsible thing and reached out to 3 people in Chicago who I trust and whose opinion everyone here values. And I asked them straight up, if Tate moves to New York City, would anything in Chicago change? Would it be like Mooj and be an irreplaceable loss for the office? And all 3 people took a beat and said no. I then asked them if they could somehow find someone to sit upstairs and watch the Yak, someone else to pray to get mentioned on the Yak, and someone else to play basketball after the Yak. All 3 people assured me that they would somehow survive. So your life wouldn't be ruined if you moved here, per you, and nobody in that office really needs you there, per them. Though I will say I feel bad for Titus, because I don't know who else will give him his daily 10 a.m. blowjob, but I'm sure someone could fill that role. I mean, deep down, you know this is the truth. There's a reason Dave is so okay with this whole thing, and there's a reason Big Cat has not really tried that hard to keep you in Chicago, because when it comes down to it, you're a loser no matter where you work. But here's the real thing. There's a reason everyone's calling you Ohio's Nate, aka a complete ripoff of me, because you are running my playbook from 2017. Everyone knows my periscopes going at Smitty's work ethic, or when I document when Francis would leave work. This has been done before, and let me tell you, it gets old very fast, and you wind up feeling like shit because you are purposely hurting the people you should be working with, not against, to make Barstool better. So half of me wants you to move here, to get to know everyone, to create content, and to make the company better. I also want to see if you're capable of doing that without relying on Big Cat to tell you what's funny or not. But Tate, at the end of the day, I need to listen to my gut and do what my former foe turned good friend would want me to do. Not stand up here and bash you. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to choose love. As someone who has taken content way too far before, again, you have to stop ripping me off. I'm flattered, but come on. I never want a content mistake to impact my real life. You're still a pussy, you're still a liar, and you're still a fraud. But if Smitty can forgive Dave, I can forgive you too. I'm voting for you to stay in Chicago.
Thank you, Nate.
You're welcome.
Is this a real one? Thank you. That's good. That's good.
It's good. Thank you.
Dog, you can, for the sake of time, we'll let Tate respond to that, but no follow-up questions from that one. You're good?
I'm good on that.
Okay, 2 more, and then we will vote just to get this thing moving. Roan, you did start this. Do you have anything you want to ask or say? If you don't, up to you.
I think that I've had terrible content ideas before. This is maybe the worst one that I've had. This is dumb as fuck. I think that I've had, it's been a quick, fast week for me of just, sending an innocuous text to Dave, and then everybody thinks I'm an asshole based on, several dozen isolated incidents of me acting like an asshole. And I take that, I own that, I'm cool with that. I don't, have the personal animus towards you. And Tate, you and I talked on the phone on Friday night, and you told me that like it would fuck up your personal life, and I have no desire to fuck up your personal life. For me, like Barstool is such a privilege. It's such like a great place to work at, and you shouldn't have to choose between your personal life and working the job. So for that reason, I'm voting for you to stay in Chicago, and I would ask that everybody does the same thing and vote for you to stay in Chicago.
Thank you, Ron.
Also, very weirdly, during this, and I think people just like need to calm down. Like my wife is getting text messages from unknown numbers saying, "You ruined Tate's life, so now I'm gonna ruin your life, bitch." It's like that's just like from an unknown number, and I feel like it'd be okay if I said that it's an 847-750-6532 number. So it's just weird. It's just a weird parasocial thing that's going on. I have no interest in ruining your life nor your fiance's. I wish you guys both the best. I didn't know that she was even in Chicago. You know what I mean? I thought she was in Cleveland. So
thank you.
It's not that deep.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Roan. And Kelly, we will end with you, as this is part of the...
Frank's got something.
Frank, quick comment, Frank.
Yeah, take
Frank,
Frank
we're
first,
running short on time, Frank, but yeah, you can
Yeah.
toss it out there.
What I say is this. You need to learn respect. You need to learn respect for the New York office. You haven't shown any respect or contrition. I wanted to see contrition here. I did not see any contrition from you. I saw you going after Dave, saying that he lied to you, and you're bringing up all this stuff. You haven't showed any contrition, or have you shown any respect to this New York office. You need to learn respect. You need to learn respect for this place, for yourself, for your situation here. There are hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people who want to be working for us, and you haven't done that. Who would like to work in this office? You know, I don't want to ruin your life either, but I say this. You should have to spend at least 2 months here, working here, a 2-month probationary period. And if at the end of that probationary period, we think that you've learned your lesson, you can go back to Chicago.
And Frank will decide when you learn your lesson.
Yeah, right.
Good point.
I don't hate Frank.
Shame on me for almost skipping Frank. That was a bad call on my part. Kelly, we'll end it with you. This obviously, you've been the biggest part of this outside of Dave's involvement as well. So we will have you say what you want to say. Tate, you can reply at the end here as a final thought, and then we will have them vote.
Okay.
I kind of like that, the probationary idea. We can maybe revisit that. But no, we did have a phone call on Friday. I told a handful of people about it. After that phone call, I was a little relieved to see that you were an actual person. I do think that you slip in and out of the character. It felt a little bit like you were maybe like reading off an outline or something, which to me is like whatever. I'm more so, you know, when I'm all riled up, I'll yell. I'm a pretty reasonable person, and so I just feel like the conversation was long overdue. You agreed. My only gripe still with you, I think, is that it took so long for you to address anything about it. If you had said something a couple months in, I think we all just would have been like, all right, that guy's an asshole, whatever. And honestly, none of this would be happening right now. The personal life stuff, obviously nobody's wanting to like fuck up a real personal, you know, issue like that. I feel bad for your girlfriend and or fiance. Holy shit, you owe her your life. Like, wow, holy shit, maybe she should run. Not even kidding. But besides that, I think that I am going to vote at this point, after hearing all this, for you to go back to Chicago, not because I don't think you're full of shit. I do think there's an element of that in here. But after that conversation on Friday, hearing you slip in and out of the character scared me a little bit in the way of like, this is Jekyll and Hyde we're dealing with, and I need to protect the people in this office, and we can't bring a psychopath in here. So that's my thoughts, my final choice.
Final thoughts, Tate?
Thank you.
No, I mean, sure. I have 10 seconds.
We told you to get final thoughts.
You said give me a final thought. It's 10 seconds.
Oh, yep.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know. Listen, I'm sure a lot of you guys don't like me, rightfully so. I'm asking you to separate content and reality here. Bring out the champagne, spray me if you want, pull out the air horns, split the vote, make it a tie. Kelly gets to decide. But I guess my point is that, in my opinion, everything we've done has been for content. Dave, I think, made it into reality with this vote that, again, he keeps saying, and he is on record as saying, was
We're not
Roan's.
gonna side with you against Dave. Like
No, I know. I don't like that he is acting like Roan.
Yeah.
Would you kiss Nate's feet?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I just hope that. I guess my big point is I hope that when you realize, like, when we do this, like, vote to ruin Tate's life, you also are ruining someone else's. Kelly, I enjoyed our conversation. Like, I think
There were glimpses
Yeah.
of reality in there. It's hard to tell. You can't, you know, I get one phone call in 10 months
sure.
now it's been, and I can't just suddenly assume that you're
Why would it ruin
normal.
your life? We keep using that.
There's
Just,
so many
just moving here?
there's
saying
so
his
many
girlfriend.
things
It's
that
personal.
we had to
It's
give
personal.
up to
What's
go
that?
there.
We know what he
I'd
means.
rather not explain
girlfriend.
everything.
You know what he
But
means.
I've done a lot of things to leave there.
Yeah.
And she's not coming here. So, Kelly, you said on Unnamed Show, and I believe you said you don't fuck with people and present it as content. You don't fuck like that. So I'm trying to be who I say I am moving forward. I'm hoping you do, because I think that you have the ability to say yes or no here. Dave has presented this as content. This is bullshit. So I hope I can stay in Chicago. And yes, I will not be laughing off the screen as I walk away.
Okay.
Maybe like a on your knees thanks or something. If
So with that,
Maybe a beg?
I did say that coming into this.
like
I
a
was
little,
like,
we all
"They're
said
gonna
we're like
be
we want you on your knees
champagne,
begging,
it's
and
gonna
I wanted a glistening tear.
be-" I don't think I can do that.
Oh.
You can't do it. You couldn't do it.
Get on my
Clemmer has a question.
I just have one quick question.
Oh, Clemmer.
we do got to go to the vote.
Yeah,
but Clemmer,
one quick
please,
question.
quickly.
Tate, is this the end of the two Tates then?
So I'll say this, and it's not like a threat or blackmail or whatever. It's like, this is the most obvious way for me to shut the fuck up, is if this is a 24-0, no, well, I guess Ray or Fran, one of you guys fucked me.
It's the wheel. It was
Listen,
the wheel. You
but-
love a wheel.
For sure. I think this is the most obvious way for me to shut the fuck up. Now, if after this, all of a sudden we've got people being like, Tate's a fucking pussy, whatever, am I gonna be writing blogs? No. But if you don't have my name in your mouth, what in the world would I be having my name in your mouth?
That's what we thought in the first place. But
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my point is like,
It was like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're good, man.
I agree.
We don't know about anyone ruining personal lives, obviously, but like, what the fuck, dude? Just shut up, and let's just get you on your way.
I agree.
You all have parchment in front of you. Please write down your vote, either Chicago or New York. I will come collect them, and then we will count them, and then we will decide what Tate's fate will be.
I feel like I might need it. Or more just like a thanks.
It's already on.
Something.
Yeah.
You really did. You're good. It'll be fine.
Thanks, Jeff. Good job, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, the collection plate.
It does feel like that. Body of Christ.
Anyone else back there?
Someone else need a pen?
Oh, that was.
Anybody else need it?
John, how'd you vote?
All right.
Your name?
I have all the votes.
How many
I will go
people are
tally them up very quickly. 23 people. Pat is not here. Pat lost his vote because he is not here. So it's 23 people. I'll go tally them up. Reminder, your mics are hot when this music plays. So just
Oh, remember that.
warning.
Say less. Yeah, like, what are we gonna do? No racial slurs,
Yeah, Joe,
Kelly.
you know we're live, right, this whole time? Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Hi. Sweet baby.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What are you filming today?
I think you guys are making the right move.
Yeah?
You think so?
He's a sociopath.
He's still in the room.
Anything you'd like to say to him? He can hear you.
Yeah.
No, I just said it. I'm glad he's going back to Chicago. He's a sociopath.
Tate, any
Could
replies?
be.
I got nothing for Dave.
If she said, "Get on my knees and beg," you wouldn't do it.
I thought coming in, like,
We should have made it.
is it going to be a you
I
have
still
to
kind of
beg
want it, to be
thing?
honest.
We should have pushed.
I think that if it like ultimately was like do this and get to stay, yes, I would. I think that would make this look even sillier than it looks. Is like
Sillier for who?
I think for you guys.
Oh, you think for us? Well, we should take advice
That's why I'm pushing for the
yeah.
probation.
That's what the keep on
Did you
doing.
write down probation?
Yeah. Put down 2 months.
I like that, Frank. I like that idea. I've always liked that idea.
Yeah, Nate at the end of his speech said, I'm voting for you to stay in Chicago. Like, can't trust.
That was discussed.
Really, can't trust Nate. Frank.
Yeah, keep you till
After
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like it. You get your Thanksgiving break, you can go home with your family.
A lot of salt though. A
And
lot
then
of
you come
salt.
back, and then you go back at the end of 2 months.
Thanksgiving.
If you show contrition, you can go back to Chicago right at Christmas.
I think you should keep taking contrition.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a great.
Hey, you have an immunity idol now. Would
I thought I wanted to do that so bad, but I couldn't think of anything.
Good one, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, like Survivor.
Tate, you need 12 votes for Chicago. If you want to
1-1?
stay in Chicago. Yes, it is 1-1, which I will read the Fran vote. Wheel decided New York City. Ria's vote also on the other side, we saw already, is for Chicago. Next vote.
Thank you very much.
2 months in New York from Frank. I think that's I don't know if that's a no vote.
We're at an even number.
Next vote. Chicago.
Who was that?
Roan.
Thank you, Ron.
Next vote from Kevin. Chicago.
Thank you, Kevin.
Next vote from Clemmer. Chicago.
My guy. Thank you, Clement.
Next vote for Marty. Chicago.
Thank you, Marty.
Next vote from Ev. Chicago.
Thank you, Ev. Go Bucks.
Next vote from Tommy. Chirac. Chicago. 7 votes Chicago, 2 votes New York. Next vote from Bosco. Chicago.
Where's my boy at? Where's
The thinnest Sharpies of all time. Next vote from Kelly. Chicago.
Thank you, Kelly.
9 votes. You need 3 more. Next vote from Caroline. Chicago. Next vote from Ken Jack. Chicago.
Thank you.
Ohio State will be staying in Chicago.
Yay!
Hey, all the remaining votes were Chicago.
Thank you, guys.
So, Ohio State will be staying in Chicago. That concludes the most awkward and uncomfortable thing I've maybe ever done in my life. Thank you very much. Good luck. Hopefully this does something for relationships.
I'm
Wild.
so sorry. This.
On that note, votes are cool. Tune into Surviving Barstool I believe, starting in December. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.